All right, welcome back. So let's talk about Prisma and MongoDB. How do we set up Prisma? We'll talk more about Prisma, understand what Prisma is all about and how it helps us make life easier for us to connect to our database and talk to our database. So today, you are going to move from using raw database query to using a modern ORM. Prisma is an ORM toolkit that makes backend development cleaner, safer, and scalable. So object relational mapping. So the thing is that with Prisma, we are going everything that we do will now look like objects. Okay, so now the last class we had, we were writing raw database query, but with Prisma, it's going to be different. Okay, so this is a major step towards building fintech systems, SaaS platform, production grade. So if you're building such applications, using Prisma actually makes life easier for you. So you're going to learn what Prisma is. You're going to learn how Prisma works internally, how to connect Prisma to MongoDB, and then how to create schemas, schema modeling. Then we'll be building a user model properly. So with the way we are going to build this user model, you can actually build any model at all. You're also going to understand what a model is. So Prisma is a modern database toolkit that helps you interact with databases easily. It helps you interact with databases easily. It helps you write cleaner queries. It's just very simple, just very easy. You're going to see how everything is going to play now. Avoid raw database complexity, get type safety, improve developer productivity. Now, with Prisma, I don't even need to know the database. I don't even need to know the database very well. Like, let's say I'm writing MySQL or Postgre. Let's say I'm using MySQL or PostgreSQL or any database at all. With Prisma, if I understand Prisma very well, all I need to know is how to get the database URL, know how to use Prisma, and then I can connect to that database very easily. So with that Prisma, you'll be writing things like this. So do you remember in our last class, we had something like this. So let me go and show you. So I will go to my TypeScript and so if I open this back end, you're going to see that previously we wrote queries. We wrote the database queries, raw database queries. Okay, so you can see what we did here. Okay, these are raw database queries. Do you understand? These are raw database queries. But with Prisma, it's going to be very different, very, very different. Okay. So this is a database query, very raw. But with Prisma, all right, without Prisma, this is what you get. You're writing raw database query. But with Prisma, this is what it looks like. It looks like as if, look at it, prisma.user.case. It looks as if you're working with objects. All right. So object relational mapping, ORM, it helps us to map maps our database using objects. So Prisma makes connecting to the database very easy. So this is very cleaner. It's cleaner, it's safer, and it's easier to scale. I'm telling you, don't worry, you're going to see what we do now. Why is Prisma powerful? It gives you auto-generated database client. All right. It makes your code type safe. Your code is to be type safe. It helps you with better developer experience. It also gives you the schema-based modeling. Remember, MongoDB does not actually have schemas, but Prisma will actually give you that schema-based modeling. Okay, easier to maintain. So this Prisma architecture consists of the Prisma schema defines the database model. So you're going to see what we mean by Prisma schema. You're going to see the Prisma client is auto-generated and the query engine. All right. You're going to see all these three components of this Prisma. All right. So important concept to take a look at is Prisma is traditionally known as an ORM for SQL databases. But remember, we are working with MongoDB. So, but it also supports MongoDB. For MongoDB, Prisma maps collections to models. Okay. So remember, MongoDB uses collections. So Prisma maps collections to models. Okay. Documents to objects. And then now let us go into the main thing here. The main thing we have to do is to install Prisma. So the thing is this, you can create a new folder or you can continue to work with the folder we've been working with. So we are still in the backend this thing. So now we can actually install our Prisma in this same folder and continue to work with it. Now instead of connecting to remember we have this DB connection. Instead of connecting using this MongoDB, all right, we are going to be using Prisma. Okay, so now first thing first, let us go and install. We already have a project, but if you don't have a project, create a project, create a folder, uh, um, make sure you're in that folder and initialize it to be a Node.js application. Then you install dependencies. So in this case, we're going to install Prisma. So we are going to install Prisma. But before I continue, let me show you the best way to go to work with the latest. All right. Sometimes it can be very confusing. So I will say Prisma. All right. Now look at this URL: Prisma docs, Prisma ORM quick start MongoDB. If you're working with MongoDB, all right. So now make sure you go to this URL and then follow the steps. You can actually come back here to learn Prisma. After watching this video, just come back here and follow this URL. While it's loading, I will just continue with the class. So let us install Prisma as a dev dependency, and then we'll also install Prisma client. Okay, we'll install Prisma and we'll install Prisma client. Right? So I will go to this terminal. I will say npm install Prisma I'll save dev. Hope I'm correct. Hope everything is correct. Yeah. All right, so that's correct. Then after that, I will install Prisma client. It is installing. While it's installing, let me go back to my browser. All right, so make sure that you come here because this will help you with the latest Prisma to work. We can see what we are going to be installing now is going to be giving us maybe Prisma version 7. All right, but somehow, Prisma version 7 is not yet, it doesn't still work, it doesn't work that perfectly so we should be doing version 6. So, but I'm already installing. So this is just come here and follow these steps. Come here and follow these steps if you really want to learn how to connect Prisma to MongoDB. All right. So mine is going to be installing maybe version 7, but we can still work with it. All right. It's taking time. All right, so we have successfully installed the Prisma. All right, always make sure that you're saving it as dependency, dev dependency. Okay. All right, so now the next thing is for us to install Prisma client. The next thing is for us to install Prisma client. So at Prisma client, so I'll go back and then I'll do npm. It's not a dev dependency. So npm install Prisma / client. And then wait for it to install. All right, so we have successfully installed the Prisma client. Let me collapse this. So now, the next thing for us to do now is that let us understand what Prisma is. Prisma is a CLI tool. All right, so it's a command line interface tool. So it is used for schema generation, migrations, client generation, and all those things. So you can even install with the Prisma, we are using it for generating schema, migrations, client generation. So the Prisma client generates the database client. So there is no better way to explain this thing than to show you how it works. So we are going to use it inside of our project now. Okay. Now let us initialize Prisma. So the next thing I will do is to go to the terminal and say nps Prisma init. Once I say nps Prisma init, it is going to create a folder called Prisma that will have this schema.prisma file. And then it also, because we already have .env, if we have not had .env already, to create .env for us. So now let's go and see. So I'm going to say nps Prisma init. I'll hit enter. Okay. So it's initializing Prisma for us. Okay, so it has initialized Prisma for us. So look at it now. It has created this prisma.config file. All right. It has also created, if you go to the EMV, it would have created the database URL for, look at it, it has created database URL for us. And by default, it is using Postgres. So but what I'm going to do now is that we can continue to use this our DB URL, or we can use this. But for the Prisma now, let us just go and change this. I'll take this, okay, copy it, then I will replace everything here because Prisma will be using this. So we could also maybe take this one out, but now we have to go back to my server.ts, and then instead of DB, I will have to change that because it's not DB URL, no, it's not database URL, no longer DB URL. So I'll change it to this and everything will be fine. So now we have prisma.config. We have, forget about this red squiggly here. We have our Prisma folder, and this is our Prisma folder. So we are going to generate Prisma now. So, but the provider here is going to be MongoDB. Change it to MongoDB. That's the provider. And then we are going to be generating our Prisma. The output is going to be here. So now the next step to take is to, of course, our environment variable, we already have this. But if you're using Atlas, then just make sure that you get your connection string right. Make sure you get your connection string right. In our own now, we are using localhost. Okay, so why environment variable matter, we should never have CodeDB credential secrets API keys. We already know this. So we can now use it like this. So now, let us go to the Prisma folder. Let us go to the schema.prisma. Then we are going to replace the generator with the provider should now be Prisma client JS. Of course, if we still use it this way, nothing would happen. But there are a couple of things we could look at here now. So we should go to the Prisma client. The provider should be Prisma client -JS, and then we are going to leave the output out. In my other what's it called? In my other projects, I actually leave it, but let's just remove it. Okay. Now the database source, the provider is going to be MongoDB. That's exactly what I have there, MongoDB. Okay, and then the URL should be EMV database. So I think in the config, let me take all these things out. In the config, I think I opened the config file now. So in the config, we have that URL, EMV. Okay, so now there's a couple of things we will need to do here. So, okay, so let me take this .env. I will take it, I'll copy it, I'll go to Prisma and I will import it. I will import it because, okay, what's the problem here? The line is, it does not start with a non-Prisma schema keyword. Okay, so, okay, so I can't use this here. I'm just, okay. All right, so now, we already have the URL EMV in the prisma.config. Sometimes, see, this Prisma can be very confusing. So, but let us go on. We already have our URL here, so it will take it from the prisma.config file. Okay. So, but in case it is missing, we'll come and fix it. So the generator will generate the Prisma client. It will tell Prisma to generate the JavaScript client. So then the data source will tell it where the database URL is coming from. So now this will define the database type and the connection string. So now, now let us go and generate. This is where you now let us define our database model. Okay. So now we are still going to generate our Prisma client, but just make sure that leave the prisma.config like this and go to the Prisma. Make sure you have it like this. So now the schema modeling means designing how your data should look. So your user tables, your user records, how are they going to look? So we use schema. So in this case now, the user, the wallet, the transaction, what is their schema? What is the structure they are going to have? So even though MongoDB is flexible, we use Prisma to have a professional app still needs structure. So we use Prisma to create this structure. So now let us go and build our user model. So I'm going to bring this up. So I'll go back to the Prisma schema. So below this data source, I'll say model, and it's going to be user. Okay, so it will take this structure. All right, so the first thing there, it will be ID, and the ID is going to be a string. See how the string is a capital S, ID at default will be auto-generate. At default will be auto-generate. Let me see more of here. Then we are going to map it to, we'll map it to underscore ID. I think I'm getting some, okay. Underscore ID, and then it's going to be at DB objects. It's going to be at DB dot, okay, what's that? At DB dot object ID, at DB dot object ID. So let me see why I'm having this error here. The line is not a valid field. What is this saying? The line is not a valid field. Where is this coming from? What is this saying? Okay, so let's ignore this. I will go for name to be string, and I will go for email to be string, and then at unique is going to be a unique email address. So let me see if I can fix this. Quick fix, I don't know why this is coming out. This line is not valid field or definition. So I don't really understand what this, okay. Okay, first of all, this is this. All right, I've seen my error. The auto is like this, not the other way around, okay? All right, so the next thing would be our password should be a string, and then created at would be of date time, and the default value would be now. The default value will be now. All right, so now we have our user model now. So we have our user model like this now. So take a look at it. This is our user model. So this is how you create all the models: user, wallet, transaction, whatever. Instead of just like we do tables in SQL databases. Okay. So now let's break it down. The model user creates the user collection in MongoDB. It creates the user collection in MongoDB. So just like we have we have the user collection. So this is going to map to the user collection in MongoDB. The ID with this field. Now, this will map. MongoDB always have underscore ID. So, but our ID now is not underscore. So we are mapping, we are using this map to say Prisma. We are mapping this to MongoDB. MongoDB uses underscore ID. Okay. We also use the object ID automatically. So now the unique means that the email address will be unique. So there will be no duplicate of email addresses in our database. It will prevent duplicate emails, and it is critical for authentication system because no two users can have the same email address. For fintech apps, the created at is used to tell the database, tell us when that user was actually registered or created. Okay. So now a well-designed schema affects performance, security, scalability, and maintainability. And any application you're building, if you can cover these four things, your application is amazing. So now we have to build where defined schema. So now let us now go and generate the Prisma client that we'll be using to interact in our application. So go and run nps Prisma generate. So I'll go back and then I will run I will run MPS Prisma generate. So with this now, it's going to generate, we already have the DB, it's going to generate the Prisma client for us. And now look at it, has generated it. All right, so we have our Prisma client. So now what happens here is that the Prisma reads the schema, connect to the database, and then we generate the database client, generate query methods automatically. So now let us go and connect Prisma to our database. So now, basically, I could actually go, look at what we could do. I could actually go to the server.ts. Now, instead of using the Mongo that I was using before, I could actually, there's no need for this. Why am I even using this here? There's no need for this. Okay, there's no need for this. So what I'm going to do now is, I can, okay, now, so let us go and set up our Prisma client first. So create a file called index.ts, or you can call it prisma.ts. I would prefer to call it prisma.ts, and I would like to have it, let me just have it, it's either I could have it inside here, or I could just create a folder called config and have it there. So, but for now, I'm going to call it Prisma inside of the source folder, Prisma.client. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say import Prisma from Prisma client. All right. So now, no, not Prisma. Sorry. Prisma client. Yes. It's Prisma client. It's not Prisma. It's Prisma. Import Prisma client. Prisma client. Then I'm going to now say const Prisma is equal to new Prisma client. So this will not generate the Prisma for us. The expression is not constructible. Okay, so why is it not constructible? Why am I having that error? Okay, it's like this thing did not generate this Prisma correctly. It's like it did not generate Prisma correctly. So let me see. This is one of the issues you could have with Prisma. Very tricky. So it was not generated. Okay, see, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to the Prisma schema, and I'm going to take this thing back to Prisma schema client like this, and I'm going to take it back. Okay, see, let me just make something very real quick. I'll call this thing out. Then I prefer to use, oops, sorry. For me, I prefer to use this new method. So the Prisma was not generated well. So that is going to be an issue for us now. So I'm just going to take everything back to what we had before. Then I will generate. Prisma can be, setting up Prisma can be a lot. Okay, so this is what we have now. But I'll changing this into MongoDB, MongoDB, and then I will still have my, oh my God. Oh, I thought I cut this thing out. I'll have to generate, I'll have to generate this thing back, this model back. ID is going to be a string. Um, Let me just take this thing back and see. Okay, at ID, at default auto, then at map, let's map it to underscore ID, and then at ID dot object ID. Hope everything is correct there. Objects d dot object ID, so that's correct. Why is it giving me? Oh, sorry, not at ID, at DB. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so it's at DB, not at ID. At DB. At DB. Then I will have, we have name to be string. We have email to also be string, but it's at unique. We have created that is date time. Date time at the default would be now. Okay, what other field do we need to add? Um, okay, password. Okay, password is going to be string. Now I am going to regenerate this Prisma again. All right. So the difference is now that we are going to have this generated Prisma, and that is where we are going to get our Prisma client from. So I will rerun this. Generated. Then I could do Prisma DB push. I could have done it before, self. DB push. Mm, all right, everything is in sync, everything is okay. So now let me go back to my prisma.ts. Now I am not going to get this Prisma client again from the at Prisma client. I'm going to get it from source. I'll no, sorry. I'll get it from generated. So under generated. Okay, wait. Okay, so do this generated. All right. And then Prisma and then client this. Okay, so this is not a name. Okay, so all right. So I think we got it now. So just make these changes. Okay. All right. So it says expected argument. Okay. Prisma can be something else, so but it can be something else. So the thing is this, I think I will go back to all right, so it's asking for Prisma, this Prisma 11. So it says this Prisma 7 is something else. An argument for option was not provided. So let me just say the option is this. Okay, so what do you expect? And this is not how I actually do my own. So now the thing is this, I am going to do something. I'm just going to do something different now. Oh God. All right. I wish we started like that before. So this is what I'm going to do. First of all, I wouldn't want, I'm going to save this let me go to my Prisma, Prisma. Let me take this model back. Let me just save it somewhere. I'll just save it somewhere. Okay, maybe I can just take it anywhere around here. I'll take it back. So now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete this Prisma folder. I am going to let's start afresh, guys. Okay, I will delete this, and then I am going to delete the generated folder, and then I'm going to uninstall Prisma. I would uninstall Prisma. The best way to do it is to go to my package.json. I will remove Prisma client. See, it is using 7. I'll remove Prisma client, and then I will also remove this Prisma. Okay, so now what am I going to do? I will now come back. Just come back to your terminal after you have removed the Prisma client and the Prisma. Come back and say npm install. So it will install our packages back. Then that Prisma will no longer be there. So now the next thing I want to do is I'll go to my browser. I'll go to Prisma. I told you before I started this class, I told you that this is the best way to actually do your Prisma. This is the best way to do it. So first of all these things are not necessary because we have them already. So I'm going to come here and I will install Prisma. I will install Prisma 6. I don't need this. Okay. I will install Prisma 6 because Prisma, look at it, they even warned us. They say MongoDB support for Prisma version 7 is not really cool. So let us continue to use Prisma 6. So I will go back to Prisma. Let me go back to our folder. Everything is okay here. So I'm going to what did I do? Oh, sorry. All right, so I'm going to go back to copy this. See, most times when I'm setting up my project, Prisma, the first time I said that Prisma was giving me so much headache. Okay, was giving me so much headache. So now look at what I have here. I don't need types at node. I don't need it. So I'm installing Prisma 6.19, 6.19. That's what I'm installing. After that is done, after installing, I would install the Prisma client. Okay. So while I'm waiting for that to install, I'll come back to install the Prisma client. We already have .env here, so I'll come back here. I'll take Prisma client. I'll go back to my terminal. It's still installing, so I'll just pause the video. All right, so the Prisma has installed. So let us go and install Prisma client. All right, I will also pause the video back. So this is how you install the Prisma client. And while we're doing that, if I now go back to our folder, you will see that we have this. Okay. And then while we are doing this, oh my God, I could have okay, we might be having okay, so this is installed too. All right, so now let us go back. Let us now initialize our Prisma. Prisma init, nps Prisma init. I'll delete this generated folder. I'm sensing that we might be having another trouble here, but let's see. If I go to my node modules, if I go to Prisma, I just pray it doesn't, we don't go into that, have that problem. So Prisma init is initializing our Prisma. Okay, so we have everything is fine here now. Okay, so now let me go back to our prisma.config.ts. We have this. Okay, we have this. So let me go back to the server and take my okay, this model that I dumped here. Okay, so now if we go back to look at this Prisma, the Prisma folder that was created, this is what we have here. Okay, this is what we have here. So, but we have to change this to MongoDB. Forget about this error, this red squiggly line here. Forget about that. MongoDB. And then I will paste my schema. So now that I have done that, what I'm going to now do is that I'm going to say um, Prisma MPS Prisma DB push. This would also do Prisma generate for me. So Prisma DB push. Okay, so it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while, depending on the speed of your network. Then we are going to have that generated folder back here. That is where we are going to get our client, Prisma client from. Okay, everything is cool. So we have the generated folder back. You can see it here. So I will go to my prisma.ts and then I think you can see now everything is fine. Look at it. We don't have that error again. Like I said, version 7 has issues. Not like it has issues. You can see in the, look at this documentation here. All right. For now, don't use it. All right. For now. For now. So maybe I don't know when you're watching this video, it might not be okay. When if you don't see this anymore, just come here and follow the instructions here, the steps. So we have everything okay now, and then we have our Prisma client. So I can now say export Prisma. All right. Um, or I can do that here. I can say export Prisma. So now we can now go to our server or any other place and use this Prisma. So now, or we can go to this our get users. Remember, we have this function here. So I can go back, I can go to it, the get user, the CRUD, our CRUD. Then I'll no longer use this. I no longer need this client here. We are no longer using it. All right. We are no longer using them at all. We are no longer using this. You can see the difference now. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to say, look at what I'm going to do. I will now say await. Um, I will say Prisma. I will import it from that file. Prisma dot user. You can see now we have that user dot create. All right. And what are we creating? We will pass in the user and but now you can see now that it's telling us, it's giving us, it says that because our user model, if we go back to our schema, is asking for name, email, password. All right. So now that is why we are having this error. So this user is not enough. So this user, I will have to name, email should include password. That would be the changes we would make. And then it's still looking for something. Name, email, password is not assignable to. Okay, so now, all right. So this is what we will do. Create. Then we will have data. We'll have data like this, and this data will not pass in the user like this. All right, see, everything is cool now. Then if you want to get if you want to get all the users, we will now say um, Prisma dot users dot find many, and it will just return it for you. Can see how simple it is. Can't you see how simple it is? Very simple. All right, you can see how very simple it is. So now I can go back to the server. All right, I can go back to the server and no issues. Everything is okay. So let us go and start the server. You can see now, this is from the previous example that we got. So our create user, we have our get user, we have the create user. Okay, everything is okay. Now we have sorted everything out. So if I now say, do I have in my package.json, do I have any script? No. Okay, I'll come back here. I'll now say npx source slash server dot ts. Okay, so let's see what we have here. All right, you can see now everything is okay. Look at it. Our server is running. Our server is running. Okay, and then if I go to Postman, if I open Postman and make request, let us see what Postman will give us. Let's make that get request for get users. Okay. Mm, all right, so this is the get users. So if I send, let us see what it gives us. It should give us some data. Okay, everything is okay. But now the thing is that we don't have any dismiss. So we don't have any user. We have not created any user. So if I want to create user now, remember the create user is, I think it is post and then users. Is it users or user? Let's go back to my server. The route is post user. So I will go back to my postman and then user is going to be a post. Then I'll come to my body. I have email. Then I'll have to provide password. I will have to provide password. If not, it will throw an error. And we are not even doing any catching. So I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I run this now, it is going to create the user for us. Okay, there is an error. Prisma.create invocation. Mongo this has to be run. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Okay. There is an issue here. Um, there is an issue here with Prisma and MongoDB when it's running on, okay, when it's running on local this thing. So now we'll be forced to go and say username, email. Prisma needs to perform transaction which requires your MongoDB server to run on replica set. So the thing is that our MongoDB, local MongoDB will give us and it will not work here. So we have to go and then create, let's go to Atlas. So now we have to go to MongoDB Atlas. MongoDB. We have to go to MongoDB Atlas and create a database. God. And then Prisma just have some headache with so now this is what I'm going to do for you now. I want you to come here, create your MongoDB Atlas database. Okay, so MongoDB, show you how to create it. You sign in or sign up if you don't have an account. Sign in. This can give you headache. See, especially when you're setting up your project like this is where the most headache comes. So you can see the kind of headaches that we have been going through already. So now come in here, sign up, sign in, create a cluster, create this thing, and if you don't know how to create account on MongoDB or create a database on MongoDB or MongoDB Atlas, I'm going to include in the comment section, or yes, in the comment section or in the description, I will include one of the videos, my fintech app, and I showed you how to do that. So I can sign in with Google. I don't want this video to take too long. But now our Prisma is already connected. So now we have, you can see that I have already changed our create user function. We can fetch. You can see that we even tried to fetch, but it gave us empty array because there was no user created. But the thing is that when you now want to create a user or update or do any of these things, Prisma it says that our database has to be on replica set, and then we don't have it. So, but where we can get this replica set feature is on MongoDB Atlas. So I'm going to sign in. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to connect, so that what you do is simple. You will now come back your database in your env file. This is your env file. All right. You will now come back and change the database URL here. Once you change it, all right, then you go back and do nps Prisma generate, so that it would link this thing back to the database. Okay, so I think I can wait. What happened here? So I am logging into my account. Oh, there's an error with my login. So this is going to take so much time. I don't know. It's going to stay. Setting up can give you a big headache. So just be patient with it. Be patient with it. That is why short from now on, okay, say I'm having issues. It's like my network is bad or something. So now, but like I said, I'm going to include a video, a video on how we connected, how we created the Atlas account. Okay. So all you have to do is to go back here and most especially change the URL here to the MongoDB Atlas database URL, and then you will come back and run nps generate. So now when you do this, well, I have already done this already in Star Express. We have already done something like this. So now I would want you to make sure that you complete this. Okay, make sure that you complete all this. We have already done this already before. We already have a project here. This is our project. This is our project that is currently already running. All right, it's just that for now, we cannot use Prisma and create anything now because of our database is not running on replica set. And for us to do that, we have to maybe get get a database on MongoDB Atlas. So just go through these things. All right, make sure that your own is currently working. Okay, and I will include in the description. I will include how to. There is a video I made in the fintech app development where we connected and created a MongoDB Atlas database. Okay, so I know this has been very rough. All right, reach out to me if you have any issues. Come to the community. This has been very rough, but that is the hardest part when you're setting up your project. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next class.